Hello, YouTube. It is Saturday morning, very early. December 17th, 2022, 5:34 a.m. and just finished another Friday night overtime shift at Amazon. Did one last weekend as well. I don't think I've vlogged since then, so I don't think I've mentioned that. So guess I should mention that. Yeah. So yeah, this is the longest I've gone without recording any videos. I don't know. It's taken a lot to process everything that went down at. Not that a lot went down, but what all went down at Bullock's Cocktails and leaving there. And I think I kind of upset Jim, the owner, and threw him for a loop by not begging him for my job back and trying to work anything out. I just kind of thanked him for firing me, and I don't think that's what he expected whatsoever. And I don't know if they got last Thursday night covered with another karaoke DJ or not. And I don't know. At this point, I feel it's not my problem. It is. I mean, I'm kind of concerned about it, but I went there Saturday. Yeah, I wish I could remember when my last vlog was that I recorded. It must have been about a week. Actually, it's been a little over a week. But I'm trying to remember what time it was that I recorded it. I want to say Friday. Maybe it was Friday as I was on my way to Amazon for my overtime shift. I don't remember. I'm fuzzy on that right now. Wow, nice stop, dude. I don't think that guy stopped. Anyway, I do like working the Friday shifts because Saturday morning there's no traffic. I just fly home. Or in this instance, fly to the so-called girlfriend's place. She said she was going to set an alarm and try to be awake when I got there so I could go to her place and take a bath over at her place. I did wood pallets all night tonight, so I'm covered in dirty pallet funk. You know, and if I went back to doing that every day, I don't think I'd be very happy with it. I used to love doing the wood pallets, but at this point it just feels a little too physical. It just leaves me way too sore. I'm just too old for that now. But to do it every now and then is kind of refreshing, and it was a little different than normal tonight because I didn't do it in inbound. I did it in outbound on the north side docks at door 339. And I've mentioned door 339 before. That's where I had my first pit incident where I bumped into the safety barrier and got suspended for 6 weeks or however the hell long it was. When I'm doing the tote thing, which is what I had expected to be doing tonight. As I explained before, there's 4 doors that are dedicated for unloading totes, all on the north side. 333, 334, 335, and 339. 339 is its own thing. It's separated from the rest of them on the opposite side of the trash and cardboard compactors. Speaking of which, one of the cardboard compactors is, I think it's on its last leg. I used to do totes and work door 339 quite frequently. Granted, it's been quite a while. Lately, I've been mostly working on the south side docks, loading trucks. That's kind of been my thing lately. Although when I come in on Fridays, doing an overtime shift on Friday, there's usually a pretty good chance of me doing totes. But lately, when I've been doing totes, I've been on door 334, or 333 and 334, and the gate has been closed, and there's been somebody else doing 335. In fact, last week it was Wayne. W. Wayne. Oh my God. It's so one thing I found out the morning I was driving around the base of Camelback Mountain, talking about all the nonsense that had happened that week working at Amazon, and just mentioned kind of how Wayne just disappears. I still, like, that's the great mystery to me, is where does Wayne go? But anyway, yeah, working alongside him, I think actually it was last Friday. I was doing door... Because, yeah, I think it was the Friday before that. I remember talking about that when I was doing the video driving around Camelback Mountain. And Wayne was doing 339, but just kept disappearing, or other times just sitting there chatting up the new girl. I cannot for the life of me think of her name. I did see her tonight, just briefly, right at the end of the shift. I wish I could think of her name. I really, really like her. She's interesting. But, although it seems like every single, well, not every single, but several of the other forklift drivers are just busy kind of chatting her up and hitting on her, so I'm just trying not to really be that guy. Not all of them, of course. I mean, you got John, who makes me look young, so I mean, he's old enough to be your dad, and Ariel, of course, who is quite happily married. I think Robert's married as well. Worked with Robert today. That guy's cool. 40th birthday, and he said he worked last night, so middle of his shift, it was the start of his birthday, and the time was the end of his birthday, and I'm thinking, damn, man, that's not how I would want to spend. 40 is a big milestone. Like, that's not how I'd want to spend my 40th birthday. Kind of funny, earlier this week, after stand-up, him and Alex is the lower level manager, is usually running stuff Sunday through Monday and Tuesday nights over on the south side docks when I'm loading trucks. Which, it used to be I used to always come to her with questions, but at this point, like, every now and then she just kind of checks on me to make sure everything's fine. And I rarely need any assistance at all. I pretty much do everything myself over there these days. But anyway, yeah, she was talking to Robert about it being his birthday this weekend. And he was like, yeah, it's 40. It's like, who the hell wants to be 40? And I'm like, ooh, I'd love to be 40 again. That sounds great. Which got a laugh out of both of them. But anyway. And I vaguely remember my 40th birthday, parts of it. I don't remember entirely how I got home, but I'm reasonably sure my friends Corey and Dave carried me up my stairs and deposited my drunk, knocked out ass on my couch. It was, night before my 40th birthday, I did my show at Gilligan's and just got... I mean, I used to get pretty hammered on the regular doing that show, but I took it to a whole nother level on my 40th birthday. Just, yeah. Last thing I remember is shortly after midnight, the whole bar singing happy birthday to me, and like holy shit, I'm 40, and then I was singing singing Can't Be Tamed by Miley Cyrus as if it was a heavy metal song. Just having the time of my life. I finished the show, and by all accounts, it was good. It sounded good. It was pretty on point all the way to the very end. But at the end of the night, I was collapsed on the floor and had to be practically carried out of the building. Did not drive home, obviously. In fact, I had to come get my car the next day on my birthday. But yeah, my 40th birthday was an event. But I mean, technically, I did work on my birthday, but you know, doing the show at Gilligan's is kind of not exactly a traditional night of work. But I don't know, I seem to be doing pretty good. Now I was kind of in my zone tonight. I said doing, which wasn't the plan. I thought I was going to be doing the tote thing, like I did last Friday. But last Friday I was in door 333 and 334, and I ran my ass off from the moment I got there until the moment I left. I mean, the only breaks I got were a couple times I just kind of had to stop because the 2 trucks ran out, and I was waiting for more trucks to come. But for the most part, I was just busy as hell running my ass off. I really wanted to do 339 tonight. 339 was not what I expected it was going to be. I got in there. There were totes. The loading zone is now split into two. The loading zone is now split into 2 zones now. They added another safety gate since I was working there on the regular in the middle of it, which is a little awkward because it takes away space from where I can't put as many totes out there now. Anyway, but it is nice. I can have the front half full and close it off, and water spiders can be coming in while I'm continuing to fill the back half. So I'm able to get toast them quicker that way, which is something I generally make an effort to do. Anyway, I went in there and there was a truck that was almost done, and I emptied it, and the back end of the loading zone was full. Water spiders were coming, start of the shift coming and getting totes from there, and as I unloaded the truck and basically downstacked everything and put it in the back end in the corral of the work zone. 339 by far has the largest work zone, which is odd because it's just a single door. Like, there's a couple of work zones where I load trucks where I've got pretty good sized work zones, but they're not as spread out as it is for 339. But on those ones, I'm working, I'm working 3 doors. Well, there's one where I only work 2, but I mean, regardless, it's just crazy having that much workspace for 2. But it allows me to stage a whole bunch in there, downstack a whole bunch in there. So it gives me more. I can do more work without having the loading zone available while water spiders still coming in and taking totes from there. So yeah, I managed to unload the entire truck while it was while they were coming and getting totes from the back half of the loading zone. And then once I got the truck empty, I was able to go at Robert, have him close the door. And as he came and closed the door, by the time I came back and waited for him to close the door so I could get back to work, that was right about the time that they emptied the back end of the loading zone, so I was able to completely, the last water spider out, close the front gate, and I was able to take and move all the totes that I had all the totes I had loaded from the truck and down-stacked into the front of the loading zone. And it was just enough space to completely pull the front of the loading zone and pull the gate. So I'm thinking in my mind, cool, they can be pulling totes from there, and hopefully they get this truck swapped out quickly, and I'll just jump on more totes. That's what's going to happen in my mind. So I go and trying to find Robert to have him open the door. Or actually, no, never mind. He'd already closed the door. I'm trying to find the manager, that PA lower level manager I worked with today. I'm totally forgetting. I don't even think I know his name, actually. Today, I think is only the second time I've worked with him. So, or maybe the third time. Generally speaking, he only runs the, he's fairly new. He just recently transferred to Outbound. And, I mean, he's not new to Amazon, but he's new to running Outbound. Northside Docks. Anyway, he was oh, brain fart. Anyway, went to get him to just let him know, where I was, and then I was kind of stuck, couldn't do anything more. I actually was coming up and working on door number 335, but there's only so much you can do on 335, and I'm not one to do the little bit that can do and just stand there on my forklift and stare into space. That's Wayne's job. But or park my forklift there and just disappear to wherever Wayne goes. Still don't know where that is. Anyway, yeah, I haven't come through here in a while. It's a lot more built up on that big project to the left. Look at all the work crew coming in today. Wow. Anyway, brain fart. I forgot what the heck I was gonna. Oh wow! Did y'all see that on the left? There's a whole bunch of tents pitched, camping in a little park right there that Phoenix is trying to sell. Looks like they still got the for sale sign up there too. Yeah, I don't think anybody's interested in that little slice of commercial real estate. Don't know what you do with it anyway. You have to start with getting all the homeless people off of it. Speaking of homeless people, yeah, brain's going in a million places at once. Saw a video today, live stream. I want to say it was Fox 10. Had no sound on it at all. It was just one of their news feeds, like they use to, I'm sure they chopped it up and used bits and pieces of it, the news story. But sometimes on their YouTube channel, they'll just, I think it was Fox 10. It's one of the local network stations. Sometimes they will. When something's happening, when they're getting their raw footage, they'll live stream it. And they did that today, and they were showing the Phoenix police breaking up the encampments down in the zone. Homeless encampments. So really curious to see what all happened with that. I totally dropped the ball on following that lawsuit against the city of Phoenix over it, so I don't know at all what happened with that. Somewhere in my life just got too difficult in October, and I kind of stopped following it, which is, it's not that I lost interest, I just kind of didn't have the time to deal with it. That's when all the mandatory overtime started. Arizona's alternative. Which I think it is over now, by the way. It's my last weekend of overtime. It actually hasn't been mandatory the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks I've just been working, and as I explained in a previous video, when they canceled the mandatory overtime nights, mine didn't get canceled because they were all on, mine were assigned on Thursdays. I shift swapped them to Fridays. And when they canceled MET nights, or mandatory extra time nights, they didn't cancel shift swap nights. Mine would be in the system as shift swap nights as opposed to, which is, I don't know, it's a good thing. I know there were some people that were actually kind of frustrated that the extra overtime had been canceled because they were looking forward to the money, and I got that money, so yeah. Take the scenic route. See if I can see some extra Christmas lights over here. I did say I was going to the so-called girlfriend's place, and I am, but it occurred to me I should really pop in at home and feed the cats before I go over there, because I got a feeling once I get there I'm going to probably climb into her bed and stay there for a while, since I don't work tonight. After the bath and getting the palate punk off and stuff. Anyway, so the homeless thing. Saw the live stream today. Yeah, they were Phoenix PD was busting up the encampment over at in the zone, and you couldn't really see much. Like, it was being shot from a distance, possibly from a drone, possibly from a helicopter. Hard to say, but and again, it was just raw footage. They weren't. There was no sound on it at all. And it was kind of from a distance in the sky. But I did hear on KTAR as I was driving to work tonight, around 6:15-ish, that a judge put a stop to that. So, yeah, some interest. I'm gonna have some interest. I'm gonna get to the bottom of that. I'll try to cover that in one of my next vlogs, or soon after. I definitely want to. Yeah, that's something I'm going to take time to Google tonight and get on, and then probably sometime next week take a trip to the Superior Court just to find out like what judge ordered what, because I'm super curious what all went down with that. I haven't rolled through the zone in a while. So anyway, I was trying to explain what all happened with tonight at work. The rest of the week was spent loading trucks, pretty uneventful. Other than Wednesday night. I actually brought my Bluetooth speaker with me, and I was cranking it up. And I'm working with like more bosses than normal, because Wednesday night you got front half leadership and back half leadership all there, and nobody said a damn thing about me, because technically it's against the rules to do that. But I used the Obama phone to stream to it, and I had it sitting on my TDR. On one of my TDR control panels, so I wasn't obviously not messing with it, while I'm driving. It was just music on while I was doing my work, and I was doing my work. So they actually seem to be pretty cool with that. No, their safety would be cool with that is another story entirely. Oh, and speaking of safety, that's interesting. As I mentioned, the guy that I used to work with, safety when I first started there, has come back to nights. And he was asking me again earlier this week asking me to apply for ASC. Told me he really wanted to get me in with ASC. And initially when he was asking me to do it, I feel like that was probably like 6-7 months ago. Just not long after I started, when I was like shortly after I started being a water spider and kind of became the wood pallet guy, but long before I was a forklift driver. He would, I would, oh, it's nippy out here. Yeah, he was trying really hard, and all I could think at that point in time was that yeah, I'm the new guy around here. I'm not looking to be suddenly the Amazon safety police as the new guy. Like, that just struck me as just something I didn't want to do, and something that would just not just it just didn't didn't seem like a good idea on several different levels. I figured some of my coworkers would just not take well to that and wonder, well, why'd this guy bump up? And he's new. What the hell's he doing in a green vest? So on and so forth. But now at this point, I'm going on just under a year that I've been there. I'm at over 11 months now, and I've worked in so many departments, and I'm just so well known throughout the building, and generally feel like I'm respected by certainly pretty much all management that knows me, and most of the learning ambassadors and whatnot, and the fact that he's actually come to me again and specifically asked me to, hey, could you please, apply to ASC, and we talked about it. I'm going to do it. I got the application in my bag right now. It's about half filled out. And, wrong key. It is cold out here right now. Oh my gosh. It's like it's not quite freezing, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 30s right now, which is, granted, not as cold as most of the country is probably, since it's second half of December, but it's, really cold for Phoenix. Oh yeah, my apartment is still a mess. Did you expect anything less? Hey, there's my Christmas tree. Although the important thing is that I have the Christmas bush up. I love the Christmas bush. Anyway, oh gosh. The 8-track player is 8-track recording deck that's kind of become its home. I'm still working through all the tapes that Heather got me. Although that's all that's left to sift through. Now granted, all of them didn't get played in database. Some of them need repair. I did go ahead and database if it was already in Discogs. Hello, Sambo. How you doing, cat? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? I came here to feed you. I did. What's up, boy? So anyway, yeah. If it didn't already have a listing in Discogs, and it needed repaired, I just put it in the repair pile. But if it did have a listing, I went ahead and cataloged it in my Discogs. And I think in my channel about page here on YouTube, I've got a link to my Discogs, but I'll try to put an extra one in this video description as well. But yeah, those sometimes I get off work, I just chill and put it in that player, which it's a little cosmetically challenged with that knob busted and that button missing. And it's grown a couple of scratches I don't remember it having. Like, I don't remember it having that nick there. But this thing sounds as good as an 8-track player's pretty much capable of sounding, which to be honest is not bad in the sound system in this room. It's quite enjoyable. In fact, I think the last album I listened to on it was Rush's first live album, All the World's a Stage, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Speaking of live albums, check this out. I just got this week. Paul McCartney, Paul is Live in concert on the New World Tour. I think it's from 90... I can't see the year. I want to say like 92, 93, 1993. Really looking forward to listening to this. 20 McCartney classics from the New World Tour, 3 exclusive tracks, much acclaimed controversial pre-show film, Paul and Linda. So, damn near Wings. But look at that. It's got Beatles songs and Wings songs on here. Drive My Car, Let Me Roll It, All My Loving, We Can Work It Out, Hope of Deliverance. Wow, and post-Wings stuff too. I like Hope of Deliverance. Michelle, Here, There, and Everywhere, Magical Mystery Tour. Oh yeah, that's going to be so good. I almost feel guilty. I bought the player from the people I bought the giant Laserdisc collection from, And I might have offered them too much money, but I looked at what it was selling. I feel weird. Like they jumped on the offer I gave them, which is way more than much more than I generally pay for a Laserdisc player. But I actually set it up for her in her home when I first went there and bought 4 discs from her. And this thing is in absolute pristine condition, and it's a very high-end, late model premium player. I mean, as you can see, it's got the DVD logo on it. Still got the sticker on it. DVD, LD, video CD, CD, digital memory for LD, DTS digital output. Yeah, I can find. I'm actually going to replace the one that's in the system in the living room with this one. It doesn't have all the karaoke features that has, but I did look up the features of this, and this one supposedly plays CDG. So I'm wanting to set up an actual karaoke mixer in this room. So no need to do karaoke mixing on the Laserdisc player. I'll just make sure that feeds. One of the things that'll feed into my little karaoke mixer here, which is somewhere in this room. I got a little tiny Mackie in here. I want to set up. Anyway, yeah, can't wait to. Is that logo there? True Surround. Dolby Digital. Yeah, this is unquestionably the nicest Laserdisc player I've ever owned. Sambo, do not climb on the Laserdisc player. Grrr. Anyway, I'd given them the offer on the Laserdisc player, and I got there, and it was the husband of the couple I was texting, and then the wife was there, and I guess he wasn't there, and he didn't tell me that. I was expecting him to be there since we'd been texting the last couple of days, and she's like, oh yeah, he told me you were coming to get the player, and it was like, oh, where's the disc? He's like, oh, well, those are. She goes, well, those are extra, which kind of threw me for a loop, but I'm not gonna like nitpick. But we hadn't really agreed on a price on the discs, and then she's like, well. I'm like, well, what did you want for the disc? She goes, oh, just like the other ones, $5 a piece. And I felt kind of bad. I was going to busted out like another $20 bill for the 4 discs. I mean, the Paul McCartney disc is worth, I'm sure it's worth more than $20. This is the kind of stuff on Laserdisc that's tends to have a high resale value. And it's not even about resale value for me. It's all about watching Paul and Linda live in concert. But, and also got some cables with it. That's nice. And then also Beatles' Yellow Submarine. That's pretty awesome. And I think before getting this, the only copy of Yellow Submarine I had was on VHS. So that's a massive upgrade from that. I'm probably going to keep my VHS of Yellow Submarine, though, just because it's really cool packaging. It's in like a... I'm quite sure where it is. I think it's in the bedroom, but it's in like a smaller plastic clamshell. Oh gosh, I'm sure I've got it. Not that it's over on this shelf, but same style of case that these Powerpuff Girls tapes are in. I don't know what the heck you call that tape kind of case, but it's a hard plastic. But same exact kind of case my VHS Yellow Submarine is in, but it's yellow. So I don't know. To me, that's the kind of packaging on VHS that I really dig collecting. So definitely keeping that. But anyway, well, she said $5 each, and then I busted out the $20. She goes, oh, you probably don't want these. And one of them was The Sound of Music, and then the other one was Disney's Fantasia. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't just give her the $20 and get it, because I already own both of those and those particular releases of those, so it's just redone it. And I don't know how easy or difficult those would be to sell. Didn't even think about it. I'm not really messing with my eBay stuff these days. But these ones here, I felt kind of like I ripped her off getting those at $5 each. But I mean, that's what she said. So, I'm not going to... No, I want to pay more. Yeah, that's not happening. That's answering that. I should see the rear panel on this thing. It's pretty amazing. I don't know if I can get enough light on this for y'all to see it, though. Careful. Last thing I want to do is scratch the front of that player because it looks so good. I'm going to pull these cables off. A removable power cable. That's always nice. I like them when they're like that. Yeah, I've never seen this particular output configuration on a Laserdisc player. Now for Dolby Digital, it's got Dolby Digital RF out, AC3. And I would imagine that's probably the only way to do Dolby Digital on it. I would imagine that my digital out here, which I've got a Toslink optical, and then this one here. This is 1, 2, 3. It's interesting that one's orange and that one's black. Well, I'm going to assume that these are just PCM coaxial digitals, and that's Sambo. Yes, I'll feed you. Chill. I would imagine those are all just the same thing going out, but I would imagine, yeah, that's only going to work for DTS surround, not for Dolby Digital. I highly doubt there's an internal Dolby Digital converter on it. Although I haven't looked at the manual for this, so it's possible it is. And here we've got our, somebody put white out on it, marking those, but my guess would be the person that owned this last marked these 3 because that's what he used. Probably used the S-Video out and the left and right analog out. And I'm going to connect analog outs, but it's nice we got 2. So this will be handy. I can run one directly to my receiver for when I'm doing just, watching movies or doing music or whatever from, and just using the stereo or the Pro Logic or the analog out from there, and then run the other one to a karaoke mixer for when I'm wanting to do karaoke off of it, playing CDGs or Laserdisc, laser karaoke. S-Video, I don't use S-Video for anything in my home system anymore. My TV doesn't support it. My receiver supports it, but it's just extra layers of conversion that doesn't help anything. So, yeah. And for those who don't know, S-Video on a Laserdisc, even if it's your option, if it is an option, unless you're using a really old TV, it's something you don't want to use, because the video on a Laserdisc is actually composite video. So the comb filter, which splits off the different video streams on your S-Video, the comb filter. If you do have a TV that has a S-Video input that you're going to use, which I don't. My TV's kind of past S-Video input. But if you do, most likely your monitor or your TV is going to have a better quality comb filter than what your Laserdisc player has. So you're better to just feed your composite to your composite input on your TV, which I do. And then you share the component video out. I'm willing to bet that's only used for the DVD, so I probably won't bother to hook that up. It's a crapshoot as to whether or not this supports progressive scan for DVD, but even if it does, as a DVD player, this is obscenely dated and pointless to play on a system like what I have here, when I've got an Xbox that has really impressive upscaling up to 4K. Or several Blu-ray players that I can use, or HD DVD players for that matter that I can use that'll upscale to 1080p, which with the digital output run to the TV, the TV takes the 1080p and upscales it again to 4K. So yeah, no point in running composite video, or running absolutely no point in playing DVD on this. Oh, and yeah, the DVD's encoded for region 1. Hadn't even noticed that. Of course it is. American marketed player. Anyway, yeah, this is one of my dream players for sure. In fact, I can only think of a couple that are a little bit higher up than this, but most of them don't have some of the features this has. So very much looking forward to getting this in. Not only because this is an upgrade on the player that I have in the living room setup currently, but as the last time I did some videos and I was showing me using that If y'all recall, it has some issues with the door opening and closing, and sometimes the disc not wanting to play when it loads. So getting it pulled off the shelf, I can at some point take it. Most likely I'm gonna shelf it for a while, but then at some point I can take it apart and hopefully get that fixed. I'm definitely not getting rid of the player that's in the system here. The one, that one there, definitely not getting rid of that, because I absolutely love that player. In fact, it might end up making its way to the bedroom system. I don't think I have a Laserdisc player in the bedroom system at all right now. I did at one point, but yeah, I think I took it out. So at this point, the bedroom system has no video in it anyway. But for a while, it was my CD. That was the CD player I was using. But then when I swapped that out for the 200 CD changer, stopped using it. And I figured that was a lot of wear and tear on a Laserdisc player just to play audio CDs. As well preserve that spindle as long as I can, since CD players are a dime a dozen, but Laserdisc players can be kind of hard to find. I mean, not for me, but just, in general. And certainly the people who can service Laserdisc players and parts for Laserdisc players are just going to get more and more scarce as time goes on. So that isn't what I was talking about. I just turned around and there it was. So I figured I'd kind of share it. There's the Laserdisc collection. Bits and pieces of it. I did, as I was talking about 8-tracks, I did want to show y'all where the oh yeah, the bedroom is atrociously messy. But this cube in the back here, it's kind of hidden between shelf of vinyl and other shelf of vinyl. That back there, that's all 8-tracks that are ones I wish to repair. They're either good to okay titles, but ones that I definitely feel are worth rebuilding, and they're not particularly organized. They're just all back there, but that was definitely one of the best out of the stuff from Heather. The Beach Boys. The Beach Boys Love You, which, come to find out, that's a UK release of it with the picture sleeve, a slipcase on it. So pretty cool stuff there. What else we got here? The Best of Country Crossovers. It's kind of a late compilation to even exist on 8-track. That stuff I'll enjoy for sure when I start working on it. What else we got here? Oh, Neil Diamond. That's not from the stuff. That's just stuff that was already there. But yeah, more stuff onto this pile. Dr. Zhivago soundtrack. But yeah, still working on those. Yes, you're going to get fed. Chill the hell out, cat. I should probably wrap this up and feed my cat. I never did explain what all happened at Bullocks. It is kind of distressing. I don't know that I'm really ready to talk about it. In fact, my not being ready to talk about it is why one of the main reasons I haven't shot any videos in the last week. But I do want to talk about it at some point soon. But I need to feed my cat. He's freaking the hell out. The other cat's not freaking out. She hasn't even come out to say hi. So you, mister, are overreacting. What? What'd you call me? He's talking shit. He's talking all sorts of shit. Yeah. So yeah, the Amazon thing. Yeah, so when I went and talked to the manager, the one that was working with him, I think the second time tonight, I've only worked with on Friday nights, he was like, oh, hey, we've got a big project we're working on. I'm actually going to put an empty truck there, and we're going to load wood. First said it was going to load UPP, and then it was going to load wood. Well, I never did load the UPP because I literally spent the entire rest of the night working on wood. And I will, now that I can post just community posts on YouTube, I'll post some pictures of it, because yeah, I enjoy load. Most drivers would have just shoved the stuff in the truck and done it all sloppy, but they wouldn't have got as much wood in the truck as I did. He seemed really impressed. He's like, that is the neatest most impressive truck of wood I've ever seen. And but yeah, put a lot into it and kind of just came up with my own way to use 339 as a wood loading zone, which I did once before, but the last time I did it, I was kind of rushed on it. So this time I was able to really do it the way I want to do it, and it worked out nicely. Anyway, thanks for coming with on the drive. Thanks for checking out my new Laserdisc player and Beatles and Beatle-esque laser discs and 8-tracks. Yay! I'm gonna feed my rather impatient cat, and then go join the woman who seems to somewhat care for me, at least enough to let me get a nice warm bath at her place. And I'll be back with more.